Morning, everybody. Good to be here. A world in motion. And I think looking at COVID-19, nobody expected, of course, this global pandemic. And of course, the huge impact that it had on our sector, so at the tourism and treasure and hospitality sector. There were a couple of people that actually did predict something. And we had, of course, 2015, I think it was Bill Gates that indicating it is not a world war or a war that will kill 10 million or more than 10 million people, but it will something is more than a virus. And actually, it's very strange that nobody acted on that, or at least that's how I see it actually. In none of my clients' risk assessments or none of the clients that I spoke in the industry, there was actually somebody that could have predicted this kind of pandemic. So quite intense looking at what actually happened. And it's, of course, we now are here at the Ryan. I think this was the first venue as well last year that everything was open again. But if we just look back, it was quite intense. And we all know that this sector is all about meeting people, traveling, mobility, and that was stopped at one moment. And we all know that there are other sectors that are more flexible, etc. But the hospitality is not in that way at least. So in the next 25 minutes, I will give you some inspiration on what we see happened already over the last year and what we think is going to be there in the next years. But first, my name is Fleury Meinke, partner at Deloitte, hospitality and leisure lead as well within our Dutch firm. And for the ones that do not know Deloitte, it's a worldwide global company. We have a lot of specialists in audit, in tax, legal, cyber, digitalization. And we also focus on a lot of industries. And one of those industries is actually the tourism, travel, and hospitality. And from a personal side, so I'm actually a passionate about the industry. I've grown up in a hospitality family, went to the hotel school, and after that directly started actually at Deloitte. And over the last 3 years, I actually became a mental coach for a lot of my clients, asking me, Florine, can you help me? Can you help me? What is going wrong? What's going on in the world? How can you help me with predicting actually what I have to do? How long will this take? And actually, I had a lot of tough conversations with clients because I also didn't know it. Nobody knew it. So that was a difficult thing. And luckily, actually, or at least I can say luckily at this moment in time, the predictions that we had from a Deloitte perspective, from all our data that we have and looking overseas to all our clients, our predictions were wrong, actually. Because we actually said that the recovery was only going to be 2023, 4 and beyond. And actually what we saw, and again, luckily, that there has been a recovery over the last couple of months already, or actually the last half year. And there are a lot of companies that actually presented a very good result at the end of 2022. However, we all know that we have winners, and I would not say losers, but at least companies that do have it at this moment more difficult. Looking at the corporate business, for example, especially here in the Amsterdam area, we do see that it has not picked up as much as we expected at this moment. But on the other hand, in the leisure market and the short stay market, we really see that there is a huge pickup. And at some stage, it's even better than 2029. Not even speaking about the theme parks that we see in the Netherlands. They really had a large number of visitors over the last year. So, and I think if this, and of course we are not sure whether or not there will be a new big thing. So we have to make sure that we do not close our eyes for that and make sure that we're looking forward. Because there are a lot of possibilities in this sector, and we saw that this sector is very flexible in the way what we can do. But again, we have to not close our eyes for things that potentially could come. So today I would like to tell a little bit more about what we see from a Deloitte perspective on the rise of actually the green travel, but also what we see from a broader perspective, looking at consumer trends. And actually a lot of things is happening and happened already over the last couple of months. So we have quite some examples as well. So the rise of green travel. And for the ones that do not know, we from Deloitte, we have a global consumer tracker that is for all of you available on our website, so www.deloitte.com. Find it on the Deloitte, a global consumer tracker. And we actually show there on a quarterly basis some trends that we see worldwide and per age. So we have, for example, specific data on Generation Z, which is, of course, the age from 18 to 30, the millennials, age 30 till 42, and the people above. And it's arranged per country. So today I will a little bit more focus on the Dutch markets, but in general, all of you can just visit our website and go into that global consumer tracker and see what is happening for your business. Because it's not only for the hospitality and travel, it's also for the retail, the automotive sector, etc. But again, let's first see what impact we see on sustainability. And we all know, and unfortunately we have seen it over the summer as well, is that we have an issue with the world warming up. So looking at climate specifically, we do think that, we do have challenges with each other, not only for us, but also for our children, for the children of our children, because we see massive changes in climate. Looking at, for example, the fires that we saw over the summer in Turkey, Spain, Italy. Almost every country in the southern part actually had troubles with fires. We see that the force of the hurricanes in the US, or at least the United States, is getting stronger and stronger. And recently we also saw, of course, the immense impacts of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. So that are things that, we cannot shut our eyes for that, and also see what impact that has on how people look at the travel industry and how people are going to travel. So what we see over here, and sorry, I will give you some graphs. That's a little bit Deloitte, so there will be some things on the screen. But I will give some context, and we have later some pictures as well. So that's for the ones that do not like graphs. Pictures are nice as well. But what we see over here is actually that the majority of the people, they do already look at sustainable travel. And especially if we see over here, so in general, it's actually that people, 46% is already looking at, okay, we're looking at sustainable travel. But even from the Generation Z and millennials, even half of it already is looking at, do I travel sustainable? And they don't mind if it will take them longer or even cost them more. So that's already a huge change. If we see that in the corporate perspective, actually we see not the same amount of people. So here you see the percentage, it's 44%, for which we think in the next couple of 6 months there will be also a huge change in that. Because, for example, we as Deloitte already indicate as from June, is that our people cannot travel anymore if they have a meeting for less than 4 hours. We also say that at least towards London or Berlin or Paris, we have to travel by train as well. And we even look at people that we work with or companies that we work with, whether or not they are sustainable. So we see a lot of impact as well on traveling and how we're working with other people in the way we think about sustainability. And it's not only in traveling, but it's also in when we are going to visit hotels and restaurants. Also there, we really look at, is that hotel or is that restaurant sustainable or not? And that will definitely be a differentiator in how we make a choice in whether or not we're going or not going to visit the restaurants or hotels. And what we also see is that there's an important part of how the government will play a role as well in this. And actually, we see from our results that especially young people, they indicate that they actually do not are willing to pay for sustainability. So they do think it is something from the government and the business to take care of. And I'm not really sure if that will really be the case, but at least that's what we see from our research, is that that will be an interesting thing as well. Who's going to pay for sustainability? And it is something that we have to take care of ourselves as well. But we mostly see for young people that it's in their behavior specifically, but not specifically in the amount that they're willing to pay extra. So what do we see over here? Here we see some examples as well. So in all of them, so the green areas, everybody agrees. So we see that at least the government should influence as well specific company or activities to tax more. So looking, for example, at air taxes or other taxes for which there is pollution involved as well. And we also see that, for example, the government should pay public transport, which is in general more sustainable than taking the car, should reduce it as well. So a lot of things that at least what we see is that people put as well the responsibility towards the government and the businesses how to drive sustainability. So I think for us all, there's something just good to keep in mind and how we can, make the difference in that as well. So, but again, looking at the rise of green sustainability and travel, there is more. So there is actually at this moment, we see a lot of new ways on how people would like to travel. And most of the people, of course, would like to have that unique experience. And I think we all would like to have that unique experience. And especially in the time that we were at home, I think everybody was dreaming about, okay, where can I travel? I think I made a lot of trips in my head during COVID. So that are things at least that we have to take into account. What is unique for people? And again, that is not for everybody the same. That will be different, and of course different for all generations. So, but first, again, a couple of graphs. Again, sorry for that. But here, what we at least see is people, do they want to save or spend money to travel? At this moment, it's quite equal at this moment. They would like to visit a destination further from home. I think a lot of people explored the Netherlands during COVID. I would not say that we're tired of the Netherlands, but at least I see, especially with young people, they would like to go overseas again. But they will do it potentially at a different time of the year, so they don't mind if it's the winter time, whether they first only want to have good weather. They also will travel in the summertime or the winter time, and their trips will be longer as well. And here, what we also see from our research is that also looking at the current situation, so the inflation that is rising, that we also see that still budget, lodging, etc., is more popular than upscale accommodation. We also see that people still tend to go with a low-frill or no-frill airline at this moment. And on the other hand, we do see that, for example, with, in my word, the bankruptcy of Flybe, for example, recent, we do see that there is some challenges on the no-frill airline. Because, of course, we all know that over the last years, the number of passengers in the air transportation was very low. So we really see that a lot of companies in the airline business are still definitely not at their level before COVID. And we also think that it will still take some time before they are there. We do see that people would like to spend more on a specific experience. So again, that's something as well. They would like to have for that one time that they're going a little bit longer than they used to be, that they really would like to have that experience for which they also would like to pay. So I think that's something that's good to know, and that we also see in the prices. So in general, there are less travel movements, but the travel amount that people are willing to spend is higher. But again, finance is important. And we talked about the COVID crisis, But we all know that we are still in a very uncertain situation at this moment with inflation, Russia, Ukraine. We don't know exactly what will happen there. But we still see that people are really looking at how they're going to spend their money. So that will still something be that, yeah, there will be in the next couple of months and years. So here again, what we think from a long-term perspective, there are a couple of long-term trends that we all have to look at. And again, that's the first one is actually the changing consumer. And of course, we all know the consumer is changing every year, but it is good to make sure that we take that into consideration, make sure that we do not shut our eyes for the different ways of how people explore the travel industry. Again, climate and planet, all in line with the sustainable business and the rise of green travel is important. But also the industry transformation, and I'm not sure if you heard about the gig economy, to say it like that, but we do see that a lot of people at this moment would like to start already part-time. So also within our organization at Deloitte, people step into our organization but say, okay, we would like to work part-time. And they have their website beside it, etc. They don't want to work 60 hours a week. And I think it's a good way of how we look at the working environment. But it gives some challenges from a capacity perspective. Well, we were always, counting on a specific capacity of a full-time job. And now if you already start at a part-time, it will be different. And we also see, especially from the gig economy, that people having short-term projects, they are not loyal, etc. So that will be very interesting as well for the sector. Who are the ones that are really going to attract those people? And in what way? And can we be flexible as well? Technology, and I think we all know that there's sort of like a blended way of how we use physical and digital meetings. But it is all about how we look at that blended way of travel. And how can we look at that from a business perspective? And as we are here as well, now we are here in person, but how can we move that away, and along in also a mixed version, so the blended version as well. So very interesting ways on how we're going to look at that. But also looking at society and culture. So having the mixed people that are working specifically here in the Netherlands, we really see that inclusion, diversity, respecting each other, that is also something that companies can differentiate on. So and we see a very high impact on that as well for the companies that do show their purpose, do show that they are inclusive and diverse. So that's also something that is for the long term one of the key trends that we really see. And here we come with some pictures for the ones again that do not like the graphs. So what we see from the consumer expectations, again, all would like to have an authentic way of travel. But we see that there is something as well on how they would like to travel. And we see trends in the adventure and nature. People that would like to stay really at glampings in the nature, having that experience. So if we look at the transformation and education, so it's not that we're talking anymore about adventure, but we're talking about e-venture. So it's traveling with education, knowing cultures, etc. Healthy, I think that was already there before COVID, but we see more and more companies as well looking at the way how they offer healthy detox, so to say, travel accommodation as well. So I really see a shift in that. And of course, we see the virtual image, and there we already see that's, for example, there's here a picture of the museum as well in Dubai. How can you embrace virtual reality into the hotel, into how you interact with people? And this is an example of a museum as well. So here have we also some examples of how we see that especially the luxury hospitality side is already looking at specific trends that we see. So we see that there are cooperation with art directors offering unique offerings. We see also that there are sort of like underwater suites, which is also something new. And again, we really see that digitalization is coming upward as well. Also, looking from a design perspective, we also see some trends that are actually here in the pictures. And one of the trends is authenticity. So with all new hotels that we see at specific locations where there is a cultural background, we really see that the authenticity of the area, of the building, is taken into consideration in the rebuilding. But we also see the local flavor. So in all, and here we see a picture of the Noble Hotel in Ibiza, but we really see that the local flavors adding towards hotels is very important as well in the redesign of hotels. Intimacy, I think that has come with COVID. People would like to have some time for themselves as well. They like to be again in the movement here with a lot of people, but also going outside that movement again and making sure that they're really on their own. And you really see that there are hospitality organizations that are focusing on that. Sustainability, and not only from saying we are sustainable, but also making sure that the hotel design is, for example, having some areas for birds, for bees, for insects, etc. So also that's something that we see in the architecture of the design of hospitality. And the last one that I would like to touch on, Instagrammable, or at least sociable. So whether or not it's on TikTok or other Instagram or other social media, we really see that people would like to make pictures. So yeah, people would like to have something to take on that picture as well. So we really see that the design is really, really important as well for the redeveloping of hotels in general. Technology. And again, that had a huge shift over the last years. And we here see as well some examples on how metaverse travel agents, as how they're giving that cultural experience and how they're going to put interaction on a digital platform with physical meetings as well. We have the on-demand amenities in hotels. So people would like to travel light because of their sustainability choice. But of course, if you would like to have your sporting activities at your location, that's not possible because then you have to take all with you. So we see, for example, a lot of hotels that are anticipating on that. And they're offering that you can also rent your sporting activities actually at the hotel. So there are things that you have to think about. How can you look at different trends and how can you adapt on that? We have the biometric payments. And for the ones that traveled at Schiphol and they have the scans with your eyes, etc., we at this moment see that you can pay with Google Pay, Apple Pay in the hospitality industry, but this will be the new trend as well. So in the next years, you will go with your iris scan, etc. You will go into a hotel, pay, etc. So it is again there already at airports. Next one will be hospitality. So be prepared as well for that. And again, we know that it's a lot of investments, but it will be the new way that people are traveling and expect to travel as well. Remote working. I think that everybody knows how flexible you can be in working remotely. But therefore, we also see that the design has to make sure of the hotel that remote working is possible as well. What I think is quite remarkable is how luxury brands are going into more different ways of offering travel and hospitality. So here you see some example of the Aman luxury private yacht. Or we see the Four Seasons that are having their private jet as well. Or we see as well the Ritz-Carlton having their night cruise as well. So where we thought the traditional hotels were only staying there, it's actually moving as well. So a lot of businesses are looking to more opportunities and offer that full experience for the hospitality and travel experience. We also see that luxury brands are offering hospitality, so outside the hospitality. So we here see the Louis Vuitton cafe as well. We see the Gucci cafe. We see the Aston Martin. So again, there are also newcomers outside the hospitality that are going inside the hospitality with their brands. And here we also see that, for example, some magazines, so the Fashion L, they're also going into hospitality and offering their specific high-end service as well in the hotel business. My children love to have the Hello Kitty brand, actually. So you also see there that there's now a full hotel of Hello Kitty. And they are in the business as well. So it's quite interesting to see over the last couple of years how we see those differences. And looking at all, I think that we can be here very proud of where we are as a sector. We have shown over the last years that we are able to adapt to the new developments that we see. And again, we know that developments will come and they will go as well. There's a huge potential as well for the tourism industry. If we now look at the expectation that we from a Deloitte worldwide perspective have, is that the tourism industry can grow by 5.8% in the next couple of years, whereas GDP is only 2.8%. And here in Europe, we still have the opportunity, of course, to wait for the Asian market to fully open again and to welcome those people again, because actually before COVID, that was the majority of our visitors here in the Netherlands. So we will see them back as well. So just coming to a conclusion as well, I think there are a lot of opportunities for this sector, and I think the sector is ready for all those changes. And again, I've put some highlights on this, on what we think from a Deloitte perspective, what the trends could be. But again, I'm sure that in the next year, there will be even more trends to come. So I just encourage all of you to open your eyes, don't close your eyes. There could be a new big thing, hopefully not COVID, etc. But let's make sure that we embrace changes, and that's where I would like to conclude. So thank you, and if there are any questions, and I just look at the time. So I will, if there are any questions, you can ask me now or later. No questions? Perfect. Okay, thank you. Have a lovely day. Good. Kijk.